Alright recruits, we're now going to continue your training by focusing on how to load and fire the musket. But before we can get to that point, we have to get you to attention, to rest your firelocks, and then to shoulder your firelocks. Now I will point out that even if this seems rather cumbersome, and even if this seems like a lot of steps, this is a new streamlined manual that we're using. This manual that we're using is written for the Army of King George, and it's known as His Majesty's 1764 manual. This replaces the manual that we used when Oglethorpe fought against the Spaniards in the War of Jenkins' Ear and fought at the Battle of Bloody Marsh, and even replaces the manual used during the French and Indian War. So I hope that helps you feel a little better. So, take care. Attention. Rest your firelocks. So 1, 2, 3. Shoulder your firelocks. 1, 2. Now in order to load the musket, I will be facing partly to the side to give you a better view. So to the left, face. Prime and load. 1. Raise your right hand and grab your musket under your circle, your trigger guard right here. At the same time, you're turning the lock forward so that way that crown is facing forward toward the enemy. So again, it's 1. The next command is, upon 2, you're going to throw your left hand up and bring your musket across you up high to your left side. So 2. Notice how I've turned the lock to the side as well, and the ramrod, my stick, is facing forward toward the enemy. Always notice that you keep your finger off the trigger as well. That's why the trigger guard is there, to guard the trigger, because you never put your finger on the trigger until you're ready to pull the trigger. Next command is 3. Bring your musket to your right side like you're playing a guitar. Now from here, the next command is called open your pans. So you take your thumb, place it on your steel, and you push it forward. So it should sound like a nice click. So on the count of 3, together, let us shout click. 1, 2, 3, click. Now you've opened up our pan, a small scooped out piece of metal filled with a small amount of gunpowder. Handle the cartridge. You raise your right hand and reach into your cartridge box on your right side. If you are elbow to elbow with the soldiers next to you, you have a small amount of space to work inside of. So it's very important that everyone does it the same way. So a cartridge is a paper tube with gunpowder and a musket ball all wrapped up inside, ready to go. But to open this up with only one hand, you need at least 2 teeth in front of your head, and they have to match. So I expect to see a nice big smile from you. But once we've opened up our cartridge, we may instantly place it into your mouth to hide it at our teeth. So we tear the cartridge and spit the paper to insult the enemy and to get to our gunpowder and lead. So on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. The next command is prime, and pour a small amount of gunpowder into your pan. If you pour too much, you might lose your eyebrows. Shut your pans. So click, and then cast about. Bring your musket to your left side, holding it off the ground, and you find the muzzle. That's the hole on the end of your barrel. Now you always treat a firearm like it's loaded. So you want to make sure it's pointed away from you, not towards you. Next command is load. Pour down the rest of your gunpowder and take your thumb to get your musket ball started. However, even though this is a smooth bore, which means your round musket ball, like a marble, should wobble going down, and it should be pretty easy to load, we still need to be able to force that ball all the way to the bottom. And your thumb should not be long enough to reach to the bottom of your barrel. So the next command is draw your rammers. So you pull your rammer out over your left shoulder, and then ram down your cartridge. Then instantly put your rammer back. If you forget and leave your ramrod in and fire it across the battlefield, the enemy will just laugh at you. So the next command is return your rammer. Upon that command, you finish putting your rammer back, but then you bring your left hand up and right hand across, and then you go back to shoulder your firelocks. This way your officer can look down the line and see that you're loaded, ready to fire. Now that we've loaded, of course, we need 3 more commands to fire, which are make ready. Bring your musket, or grab your musket with your right hand, bring it up in front of you, and then turn it, placing your thumb on the cock, and you will pull it down 1 more click to full cock. That takes off your safety, so click. So, smartly done, it should look like make ready. Next command is present. Notice the command is not take aim. Instead, you're presenting your musket in the direction of the enemy. Because this is a smooth bore, the musket ball is going to wobble going in, which means a well-trained soldier should load and fire in 12 to 15 seconds. But it's also going to be loose fitting going out. So that's why it's very important that we all fire together at the same time, and we're presenting the musket in the direction of the enemy. So the command of present, you put your right foot behind your left foot a little bit, and you put the bottom musket into your shoulder. The last command, of course, will be fire. And when you pull the trigger, this rock, flint, striking steel will hopefully give a shower of sparks to drop into the pan to ignite the gunpowder in the pan, giving a flash in the pan, to then go through the hole, the vent, to ignite the main charge and send the ball flying through the air. So the command will be fire. When I shout fire, we will shout bang. So fire, bang! As soon as we fire, we step up and we bring the musket back just like so. So you step up with your right foot and you go click to the half-cocked position. From that position, you can then load again. Now I'll show you very closely up the detail. Notice when the flint hits the steel, I got a very slight spark just now. Ideally, we'd want a shower of sparks to be able to ignite the gunpowder. With this humidity, these flintlocks are very unreliable. They have about a 20% misfire rate on a good day. But you might have noticed the sparks just now. And notice the vent, that's the hole at the bottom of the barrel. So that's the up-close view of how our ignition system works.